is very nice out right now.
Yeah.
They call it like local summer, so it's like 80, 85 degrees, but I've been in LA for like a year and a half.
Oh,
Originally
okay.
from the East Coast, from New Jersey, worked and lived out in New York for like 8 years, and a year and a half ago came out to LA, and kind of was the right timing for me.
Huh. Yeah. What triggered that decision?
Oh, life, like it just, you, I felt like just more of the narrative side of filmmaking was out here.
Uh-huh.
And, I just kind of get ready. You're like growing as a filmmaker and you're like, all right, like like are the other writer directors aspiring to kind of go through to the feature side out here in New York as much? And I just felt like the business wasn't there. And it's like if you're a country singer and you're not in Nashville, that's
Mm,
how it felt. And I also
mm-hmm.
felt like ready.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, that's what kind of drew me out.
I
Um,
uh I look forward to following your career and hearing more about how LA might be serving the growth of your career, because I think there's a fascinating conversation to be had about Hollywood and maybe the decentralization of Hollywood. I'm seeing
mm,
a lot of productions happening in like in Georgia, in Utah,
yeah,
and the kind of this like dispersing of like where films are being made.
they're being shot all over. Hopefully more and more back here in LA or more
Mm,
back just in the US. But I still feel like the business side is here, the development
okay.
side is here. The executive reps, like all that to me is to, and the energy is still here. Like
Mm,
I haven't felt this energy in New York. Like
hmm.
everyone here is an actor, everyone here is a writer, director, trying to chip in. And um, I like that energy out here. I'm with it. I'm
It's
with it.
good to have that energy, and I mean,
Mhm.
speaking of energy, we're just coming back from TIFF, where the
You
film
can see the
screened.
glaze of fatigue over my face. I'm still wearing it. How are you?
Oh man, recovering
Yeah.
still. TIFF, I mean, every film festival is always a great time. It's just kind of a whirlwind,
Hmm.
even on the critic and journalism side. But I'm sure as a filmmaker, it's probably kind of overwhelming for you as well.
It is. I mean, I'm just speaking for kind of my own experience. The only other bigger film festival kind of opportunity I've had was at Cannes the year before,
Yeah,
and
with
so
T,
like
right?
yeah, with T, and so it was like
Yeah.
smaller scale festivals, Cannes, and then Toronto, like after the year that T did. So I had a little bit of a gauge of how much how kind of chaotic it is. But for me, it was mostly meetings. Like I didn't get to see a lot of
Mhm.
screenings. It was mostly work, which I'm setting up, which I'm hopeful for, which I'm kind of trying to make happen. So Toronto, I can't speak more highly of it, man. Like there was absolutely like it is this like total meeting place of everyone, and internationally as well. And a lot of Hollywood there. So it was like a lot of industry stuff, a lot of networking, a lot of sit down meetings, um, and not to mention, I know a lot of good movies were there. I didn't see a lot of them, but at least the other shorts that we played in were exquisite. And it was so flattering to be a part of it. And it's selfishly, I have this little list of festivals that I want to play in and compete in. And thankfully, this past year and a half, I've been able to check off two. I got a couple more, but I checked off two.
Off the record, I want to hear more about what festivals are on your list. But
I'll
I
say
know,
it on the record. They know.
oh,
You
go
can.
for it.
I
Yeah.
bet you can guess them. Like, come on. Like, I
Are
like.
you
Not
going to be
one.
at Sundance? You going to try to get to Sundance? You going to?
I hope so. That one's up there. It's
Hmm.
Sun. You want. I'm curious what you think too. Like, it's Sundance, Berlin,
Hmm.
Venice. Those are the
Ooh,
other. Those are the three. I think like I got two out of the five,
yeah,
and my goal is to hit all five. Like whether it's like this project or several. I kind of like it
yeah.
being several because a different experience, different festival kind of rides its own personality too. And I love the competition of this business, or like I love the goals, and like that fires me up. And so having these festivals say yes or no to your project, the no's, I always tell people, are always just as helpful, if not more than the yeses. Because I'm
Hmm.
like, man, I want to come back here that next one. I'm going to make a better thing, and I'm going to submit it again and get it back. Um, so I love that angle of it, and love to have that kind of outlet and opportunity to go try to get in every year.
I think that is a super cool perspective to have, and I relate with it because
Mm,
I can't speak highly enough about Sundance. I've been
mm.
there for the last 4 or 5 years now,
Yeah.
4 years, and so I love that festival, and I love being able to have the conversations with these kind of independent filmmakers there. Like the energy, it's because it's so small and it's in
Mm,
such a condensed area. Like you are just always interacting with everyone who's a part of the festival, and it's definitely a different dynamic. I mean, every festival has its
totally.
personality, but it's just so cool how like intimate Sundance
Mm.
is, and it'll be interesting to see how that changes when it moves to Boulder. But
Yeah, and
um,
it's last year. I'm sure there'll be a big tribute for Robert Redford
yes,
as well.
right, right,
Um,
right.
I would love to go. So you're saying that's your favorite?
I like Sundance a lot. I like it a lot. I go out of my way to get to Sundance every
Mm,
year. Sundance and TIFF are the two that I go to. I would love to get over to the European festivals, Venice, Berlin, Cannes. I applied to Cannes one time, just kind of
mhm.
threw my name in the hat, and
Let's go.
and it was like you're saying, the no from Cannes that I got was kind of inspiring. Actually, it's like, all right, well, let's see what I can do to build myself up and build my platform up and see and
Yeah,
I think that what happens is that that's going to make the yes whenever that happens a lot more rewarding. So you know
100%. I
we'll
mean,
see how that goes.
I think I've submitted, I can count them. I submitted at least 5 shorts that I directed
Oh
before,
yeah.
5 or 6 that I directed before getting into Cannes. So it,
Wow.
and I still feel lucky as hell to get into that, when I did with T. So like it fires me up. And I think you need that perspective in this business as an artist. And I think it needs to be like, you're not that good. Like you need to be told like you ain't there yet. Like, and that
Hmm.
was super helpful for me. And also, you need to have a thicker skin. So like to have these kind of like to have the challenges of getting in or not, like, and be able to go back at them every year, I think is healthy for growing filmmakers. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love the persistence that you have,
I'm
and
a psycho. I'm a psycho. So nice to meet you. I'm a crazy person.
well, you're a pretty cool crazy person so far, so I approve of this.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, do you have a hard stop time? I want to make sure that I don't
No,
overrun.
we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Well, I want to talk about the film that you had at
So,
TIFF, which is Disc. My goodness, I was blown away by this
mm,
short. Like genuinely, I was so happy that you guys contacted me and
mhm.
put this on my radar, because this was a really really cool project to watch. For those who don't know about Disc or are just discovering it, just give a synopsis about what the short film's about.
You're setting me up here because I wanted to hear you try to describe it.
Uh, what
Um,
I've realized is that when I try to describe things on the fly, it doesn't come out the way I understand it, and so
mm.
I put it in your court, and we can
Oh,
kind
so
of
now you know
vamp
how
from
we
there.
feel. Now you know how we feel because all the time you do interviews or Q&As or something. They're like, just what did you think of the film? And you're like, well, that's what I thought of the film. You point to the screen. Um, so, all right, what I would say, it's a dramedy about connection, Disc, and it's the story of two people in a one night stand at a work conference at kind of like a run of the mill hotel, and the female character is late for a big speech she has to give, and before she can leave, she spent the night with this very sweet boy, kind of golden retriever type man, and they didn't know each other. It was a drunken hookup, and before she can leave and she's late for this speech, she realizes that her diaphragm is stuck too high up her, and so the two kind of have to work together to remove this thing and hopefully find out what real connection is.
Love
How'd I
it.
do?
See, that you did great. That's awesome. A really great
I stumbled out the
summary there.
gate, but I feel like I brought it home.
You did. That was excellent. What you mentioned in that synopsis is the genre, and I wanted
Mm,
to address this with you because I listened to another interview you did where you kind of talk about genre and the category of this
mm.
film, which I think is really hard to pin down here because you call it a dramedy, which it absolutely is. There's drama, there's comedy. I don't know what to do with the thriller aspect of the movie. Like there is a sense of anxiety that happens here that doesn't quite fit in comedy or drama, but isn't entirely thriller, but definitely had me kind of like anxious. What are your thoughts about that? Let's talking a little bit about category and genre here.
Great question. I never write for a genre. at least right now. And the times when I was younger and I tried, it stunk. Um, I just am like, I even say dramedy is kind of a wash too. It's just
Mhm.
what kind of spills out. To me, checking as many boxes genre wise, which I know is cliche and a bunch of other directors say, is what I'm trying to chase and pull off. But to me, to be able to tighten the different kind of valves for what an audience might grasp onto and then release that and jump onto the next thing is a fun challenge. So for disc, like there's total anxiety, thriller, good time, right, or uncut gems, kind
Mhm.
of like anxiety coursing through this thing. But I love cutting that in half with comedy. This is a very uncomfortable topic for guys and girls, and to put them in that uncomfortable space but then release that tension with a quick joke and then try to build it back up with kicking it off, or finishing it off with a touching, more tender moment, is a fun thing to navigate and audition in a short, and that's what kind of drew me to it too. I don't see the genre. We got a bunch of like horror reviews, and I was like, "There's no way. There's no way." I love it. Like, man, if I had a horror feature script, the business would want me. I would feel like I could greenlight that thing so quick. But no, we didn't. It's been kind of put in a different genre boxes on this one. Um, do you think that's more because of the graphic nature of it?
Not necessarily the I mean, there's a little bit of the graphic nature to it, but really it's the part that stands out to me and the part that I like locked into this movie was when they were trying to get it out the first time, and thing everything's happening. That persistent maid or
Mm,
housekeeper keeps knocking on the door. The cell phones are going off. There's a lot going on. Like
mhm,
that was anxiety inducing for me. Just like, oh my god, will the housekeeper stop knocking? Why are these phones ringing right now? Like there is so much going on here, but that's the tension that we're building here, and
mhm,
and that's where I think, I mean, again, thriller doesn't entirely explain it, but that's that anxiety inducing aspect to the story. It just really locked me in.
appreciate it. Appreciate it. There's a little anxiety in there. They're hungover. I like pumping
Yes.
that in. That definitely doesn't help. Um, and it's been so fun. Like, you're kind of switching from the male dynamic to the female dynamic or perspective each
Hmm.
time. And there's a lot of tropes there. There's a lot of easy layup jokes, but also reworking that to be organic to the story in itself and to not be like kind of cookie cutter was really fun to develop with Tori and Jim too. Like to
Hmm.
bounce back and forth with them, play with those cliches, but then also try to rewrite them. Putting
Hmm.
in more of the kind of thriller elements to that exposed a lot of those like fun traits or opportunities there, if that made any sense.
It did, it did. You were mentioning the touching moment at the end,
Mhm.
which leads me to the question: where do I find this soundtrack?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yo,
So
I need this soundtrack like immediately.
I'm so touched. So we have an incredible composer, and he's a singer-songwriter named Kevin Garrett, who has an incredible body of work. Um, and I was a fan, a straight up fan, didn't know Kevin at all before Disc. And after T, I was just feeling a little, probably like undeservingly confident, and I shot him a DM and was like, Kevin, you're awesome. I have this other short. I have these movies like in the like on the that might move forward, and we got to work on something, or just like I want to write for you, or like do a music video or something. Like we have to find something to work because I'm so inspired by your work. And so we finally connect and hit it off. And then when Disc was ready, kind of for the first time on something I directed, I had a very, very specific idea for this one, and that's an all a cappella score, and kind of juxtaposing his and her vocals opposite of each character for their themes. And so I was like, Kevin, I was like, oh, okay, so all a cappella, we are grunts and hums and hoots and ha's like all the way through, but we need to wrap all of that up, do a total, thematic arc with each character through that, weave it together, but then we're going to do an original song at the end with this acronym. And he killed it. He had never scored a movie
Mm.
before. He acted like he had 1,000 times. It was a lot of Zoom calls like this where he's in his basement in a microphone, I'd be like, hmm, hmm, hmm. and I'm like, faster. Like, and so he absolutely destroyed it. Everyone should check out his music too. And he's on tour and all that. And he's a dear buddy and a mega talent that really helps drive this one home.
Yeah, boy, what a discovery. I love what Kevin did with the score and the
Mhm.
song and the acronym. I'm now a fan, so thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah, I love like him getting attention off this, like it just he deserves all the credit. There's also some things that we really pushed. Music has so much power in cinema. Like it can and especially if you're going for tender, if you're going for these multiple boxes, like the wrong lyric leans cheesy so hard to me, or the wrong like music can push you so hard in any direction. So this one had to be like we had to be so dialed in and deep dive on our tone here, like hours and hours and hours and sessions and sessions and sessions on this, and he really knocked it out of the park. And we also were trying to be a little non-traditional, like how can we be different, what are other kind of things we want to avoid that we've seen happen 1,000 times in scoring shorts. So we wanted to go against the grain a little bit. I can't thank him enough.
Yeah, it's exceptional. I while I was watching the movie the first time, you're kind of piecing together what's going on, you're kind of going along for the ride. And obviously I'm thinking thematically,
Mm,
what do I take away from this? They're in the bathroom and she says, we're going to do this together. And I'm like, okay, so there's some kind of connection thing
mm,
here. He goes to the door to talk with the housekeeper, and is saying I'm kind of in it right now. So we're hearing all these very human kind of
mhm,
notes here, but boy, it just locks in, like the theme when it hits the title screen at the end, and then
mm.
the acronym makes so much sense. I did not realize it's an acronym, but then you have this song that just really explains and brings everything together. I want to know more about that, and talking about the themes here in this short.
The themes were always so Tori came to me with this project originally with like an older version of the script, and the themes were kind of like of connection and two characters meeting and like what really is intimacy. And after we like reworked a draft out, brought Jim in, this kind of version of disc came together. Those themes were kind of already there. We just pushed them more forward. With sticking our tone and scoring it, to me, it was always called disc.
Mhm.
But with scoring it and coming together with Kevin and then talking about original lyrics at the end, very kind of like old school, like let's stick the landing. And because we had a very quiet, tender climax on screen, I thought it could use specifically for a short. I'm a fan, right or wrong, of a little bit more harder of a button. This
Mm.
is why we're here. This is what we're saying. Personally, I like that in a short. And because we were a little more open ended with it, with the feel good moment at the very last frames we have, I wanted to push the message a little bit more. So the idea for the acronym came up we were close to the end of it, and I was like, okay, so Kevin, you need to do all acapella score. It needs to be his and her female vocals, right? No lyrics, but at the very end, if we're doing lyrics, can you start them with DISC? So that's how he started, and he wrote all those, and like pitched a bunch of options and melodies, and that was a lot of him.
Mm.
I'm glad I went back and forth on doing that a lot, because part of me was thinking maybe it's a little too spoon fed and a little too on the nose, and it's kind of that internal kind of taste checker on it. But I do like I do being like, here's what I'm trying to say, here's what we're going for. Um, so yeah, it sounds like it
Mm.
worked for you. Some people
Oh,
I went back and forth on it though. I'll be real.
I mean, it worked a little too well. Like
Mm,
I was changed when that
mm,
title card hit. I was very, very impressed with
thank
how
you.
that ended, and definitely brought everything together. And I think you make really valid points about how important music is in movies. And I don't think people recognize that. I think
Mm,
music is so impactful that it influences us without even knowing, or
yeah.
without us even being conscious of it.
Hmm.
But I pay a lot of attention to scores and to the music in movies, and both the use of music or the choice not to use music. I think that
Mhm.
there's a lot of power in either one if you're making those decisions.
Mhm.
So yeah. Anyway, just raving about the music in this
No,
movie.
no, no, dude, I'll tell you that means the world. I'm pumped to work with Kevin more, I'll say that.
I'm excited for you guys to collaborate more too. That'll be incredible. I will be
Mhm.
following.
Mm.
Um, I want to talk a little bit about inspiration for what this final product is. I guess I was curious as I was watching, like, what movies or maybe other short films were you thinking about while you were making this one?
I'm gonna be very honest. Um, for this and for kind of my work in general, man, how do I say this without sounding like a total weirdo? Um, I this one, it wasn't like I wasn't pulling a lot of references. It was more so I like really prepped and worked with our DP Nick Allen on how to capture it and what we wanted the look and feel to be. I guess we had reference. We'd like, we were like gritty, handheld. Here's some visual references because of the low opportunities for like we didn't have a lot of like lighting sources to play with, and it had to be the right degree of underlit, which was something that I had to wrap my brain, because the more you grow, the more you want like 1,000 lights and you want to high key everything and get these really tough edges and rip people off the background. So for Jim to be tucked in this muddy, dark corner in the beginning, I was like, all right, is this going to feel the right kind of wrong? And so it wasn't like, okay, this is obviously good time mixed with this mixed with this. It was just a little more organic than that. Probably because it was just a 1 day shoot too. I didn't pull a ton of like hard references for it. We always make like we shot list everything, storyboard everything, shooting script everything, and we have a visual treatment before all of that, which is just like here's the look and feel. But I really, if I'm trying to remember, I didn't really have like a hard inspo or like a movie or two I was like running back a bunch to be like this is the mode for sure. I'll
The-
throw a question back at you. Does it
okay.
read like any movies to you? Or like if you were to reverse engineer it, like would you be like, "Oh, it's this and this?"
I mean, you're making good comparisons with like Good Time and Uncut Gems. I
Mhm.
mean that anxiety that's in the film, I really appreciated that and kind of recognized a lot of what I like in movies in that. Again, which is probably why I'm so like enthusiastic about talking about this. So yeah, I think that if we're coming about this conversation when it comes to originality, like I think it certainly feels like a movie that's like, wow, they really did their own thing here. They really this feels authentic. It feels organic. It feels very well thought out.
Mm.
And I guess that's why I was wondering, like, what are the influences here? And it kind of makes sense that you say, we were really just kind of doing our thing. And it's interesting because once you have the final product, then you can pinpoint kind of similarities then. But I find it interesting that you just kind of did your thing, and this is how it turned out.
Yeah, I want to try to explain this properly. Like I don't watch too many movies or like I don't watch for some reason like I feel like I am definitely inspired by a ton of things. I'm definitely pulling a ton of references on my own brain and hard drive to put this stuff out. But when I'm in the process, I'm not pulling or like watching stuff back. It's like already deep down in there, and I can't even explain where it came from because I don't remember it. Or like it's a little more like deeper woven in to me than like I'm not the type to be like, oh, I'm hitting all these movies this year, I'm watching all these movies to inspire me, I'm going out and because I like that and that movie that time, that and that movie that time. It's like way messier inside me than that. And part of me, I don't go out and watch that much stuff too because I like trying to, I don't know, I like when it feels really organic. And there's a lot of I messed up a lot of movies because of that too. But like I'm not a great movie reference person. Like I can't. You definitely know a lot more references than I do. Or Jim in the movie, he can say 1,000. He read like, oh,
Oh
this is like
yeah.
this, and I can't keep up at all. I'm nodding and pretending like I know everything. I'm like 100%. I watch that. I brush my teeth for that 100%. And so like I just I don't know. Sometimes it's just like a gut feeling or stuff that inspired you when you were way younger. Or, yeah, did that make any sense? I feel
You
like
know, it made enough sense.
it made
That's the
it had to be polite no. Polite no.
It made enough sense. I mean, that's a conversation I would love to have more. I mean, one of the
With
questions, I
my
guess, is
therapist.
yes. I mean, are there movies that influence you in general, like movies that really inspire you to do movie making, or is that also something that's just kind of organic and
Oh,
authentic to
totally,
your
totally.
existence? Yeah,
Everything inspires me. Everything
yeah.
inspires me. Like every movie, a great movie, a not great movie, a well-reviewed one, a critically acclaimed one, or like a huge box office one. Like I think there's a bunch to take from all of it. Sometimes a bad movie I learn more for or take away from more than a good one.
Mhm.
I love big blockbusters from the 90s right now. I love
Yeah.
Spielberg. Jaws, Jurassic Park, two of my favorite movies of all time, and that's where I want to go.
Mhm.
Um, and a lot of the time when we're coming up or filmmakers are coming up, like you're doing these festival things and you're starting out very small and you're surrounded by either fellow students or fellow growing filmmakers, and you're making a lot of movies for just movie makers, right? Those are the only
Mhm, mhm.
audiences you're originally exposed to, and you forget or you can kind of lose track with that. This stuff is for wide audiences. This is for audiences. So right now I'm really trying to get engaged with what the wider audiences appeal for. I want to make movies that everyone likes and everyone connects to, no matter where they're from. That's why Toronto, they're an incredible experience for me as I'm growing, because I get to get exposed and get feedback internationally, which
Mhm.
is fascinating. I mean, look at you and I talking. We would never have connected if it wasn't for one of these festivals, right?
That's so true. That's very true. And I mean, that's one of the reasons I enjoy going to these festivals is just to have that exposure to,
Mhm.
films and filmmakers and, just other things outside of the bubble that I live in here in the Pacific Northwest. I
On
think we
the
have No, go
Sorry to cut
ahead.
you off. Keep going.
No, it's cool. Go ahead.
So you've done a bunch of festivals. What do you think of the movie landscape business wise right now? Do you see trends? Are you feeling optimistic, pessimistic? What do you
Sir.
think? Spill it. I'm interviewing you now. Okay.
We need beer for this
Mm,
conversation. I need to have a pint in front of me.
let's
This
hear
is
it.
good talk. Um, it's so interesting. I mean, for us film critics, we're paying a lot of attention to, what's premiering at festivals, the awards race that's coming up. We're paying a lot of attention to that.
Hmm.
I do want to get more into the industry side of things. I made a bunch of industry friends at
Hmm.
TIFF this year, and I'm so curious more about how the industry side of things work. Um, but it is interesting kind of following films when they premiere at a festival, when they get picked up by distributors and and as they go out to and release and go out to the world. I'm optimistic
Hmm.
about it. I go to these festivals and I see a lot of really great movies. Obviously, some of them are bigger titles that already have distribution or have their studios, but
Yeah.
I get to see these kind of independent projects as well, and smaller projects. Curry Barker's Obsession,
Hmm.
talking
Hmm.
about horror movies. It was so cool to hear about that movie getting picked up because I know him as a content creator and as a social
Yeah.
media
Yeah.
personality. Um, and so to see his movie premiere at TIFF, and then get picked up and get distribution and see that go out into the world, and it's a fantastic film, by the way. Like I
Hmm.
really
Hmm.
enjoyed it.
Yeah. I've heard.
So like those kind of stories just really inspire me to continue going to festivals and continue finding those hidden gems. There's a lot of
Hmm.
them. They're out
Hmm.
there, and I love doing that. I love finding those films and those filmmakers and talking with them. And you are one of those examples.
I
So
appreciate it. Is that
yeah.
one of your biggest, like what you seek out the most at the festivals? Is it the most fun for you?
Mm.
If you had to rank what you dig the most, is it finding something and pointing a lens to it to show people because they haven't, like you'd be like, whoa, 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 you all saw the big ones, but actually I found this diamond in the rough. Is that like kind of your number one draw, or is it somewhere else?
No, that's one of the biggest reasons I go to festivals is to
Hmm.
find the hidden gems, and the things that really appeal to me. Something I have to recognize is that, everyone watches movies for different reasons. Everyone, goes to see things for different for their own personal reasons. And
Yeah.
I have what I'm looking for at festivals. And so one of the things that I've kind of honed in going to festivals is, these these are movies that I think will appeal to this audience. These are movies that will appeal to this audience. These are movies that will appeal to me, and then I get to
Mm.
sell everyone on
Yeah.
why that's important, and why they should check that out. And so that is the most fun thing for me to do, is to find movies and tell people like, hey, you don't miss this.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the only frustrating thing about that is um, is that it's kind of an exclusively festival kind of activity, because I come back home to my friends who don't go to festivals and say, "Oh, you've got to see this movie," and they're enthusiastic, like, "Cool, when, where, how do I see it?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "I don't know yet."
You're like, well, it's at Nashville next, and then it's
Right?
at then it's in Aspen, and
Yeah.
then if you can get out to Albania, it'll be there, and like so like.
Yes, and so eventually the movies come out. It's just like
Mm,
I've
mm,
learned to be a little more reserved. Like I have my recommendations and I hold on to them. When they get a release date, then I like spam everyone, go see this
mm,
movie.
mm.
Yeah, one of the big examples was a few Sundances ago. The movie Flea, it was an animated documentary.
Okay.
Came out at Sundance, and it was the last movie I watched at the festival, and just blew me away. I could not shut up about this movie. Um,
You loved it.
and I loved it, but it didn't come out until December. So
Okay.
Sundance is in January, so I got to
Yeah, but
spend
then
February,
you get
March.
the "I told you so's," you know? You get the "I
Right.
told you so's," right?
Yes, I do. I do. It's just 11 months of me building up,
Mm.
but anyway, it's a lot about me. Sorry.
Hey, that's what the listeners need. Come on.
I hope so. I hope that they find me interesting, but I really want them to find you interesting too. Um, but I kind of want to tap into your mentor side a little bit. I am curious what advice you would give to people wanting to approach making a short film.
Phew. Um, okay, I always kinda give recently I've been asked, or, like, talk back to some colleges and stuff like that. I have one I have one kind of experience in the business. There's 1,000 ways to do everything. That's my first, like, that's my first, like, disclaimer, okay? Um, my advice to someone making a short film for the first time,
Yeah,
and what do they wanna do with it? That's my first question.
make it
What's the goal? You
and
just wanna make it?
make it. And I think visibility, getting it in front of people. What do you
Mhm.
think?
I think one, you need to something that took me a while to grasp, and I still am, is you learn the craft of filmmaking first. You learn focal length, you learn the media side, you learn how lighting works, right? You They kind of put story last. And
Mm.
story, at the very end of the day, is what you're still a storyteller. So do not forget that. If you're starting out as a filmmaker and you have an idea for a story and you haven't done a movie before, don't lose that sense of your beginning, middle, and end. And is your story straight up captivating? Tell it to your friends. Just tell it to your friends. Tell it to your family. Are they checking their phones? Are they at the edge of their seat? If they're at the edge of their seat, you have something good. And don't make your movie until you have that, right?
Interesting. Okay.
That's
All right.
that's what I would say. And then I think also be very, very tough on yourself and think, what do I really want to get out of this? And
Mhm.
really be honest and write it down. Because if you're like, oh, I want to get in a can, I want to get 100,000 views, I want to get an agent, and I want to greenlight my next movie. Those are insanely lofty things, right? And if you're a first time beginning filmmaker, how are you really getting yourself? Are you ready for that? And have a real honest conversation with yourself. If you think you are, then great. Then you put those stakes behind it and check and hold yourself to those standards. If you're just trying to get exposure and get it out there, if you want the accomplishment of your first movie and you want to have a blast with friends, that's a different, kind of scope too. If you want to get to your first festival, I think having a tough conversation, honest conversation on expectations will help you stick the goal as well, and help you motivate people and direct people or bring the right team together too.
That is great advice. Excellent advice.
It's advice that I just learned it's like I made a lot of shorts that needed a lot of growth, but also everyone helped me a ton of the time. Um, and I always was aiming lofty, and I was always missing the right kind of way. The stuff I was going after, luckily for some reason, call it raised right by my folks. I love this stuff, but it never feels like work to me. and I can go I love the hell out of it, and it I can grind and grind and grind and grind and grind. The second something gets into a festival, I get anxious. I'm at Toronto. I'm itchy. I'm like, man, I gotta shoot something. Like this is I can't, we're still talking about this movie. It's over. I got to make something new, or else it's gonna be gone, and this ride's gonna be over. So I'm always trying to keep shooting, and that's my last advice too. It's so hard to get days on set as a director,
Mm.
right? Like how many days have you really directed? And it's not a lot, especially
Mhm.
after college. So anything you can shoot is a good rep, is a good opportunity to get better. You can shoot on your phone. You can
Mhm.
block it on your phone. I bet you have a friend with a better camera than your phone too, or someone that wants to do something and doesn't cost a lot. Like you can go out and get that. You need to have a producer mindset as a director, especially when you're coming up. So how are you putting yourself in opportunities that can get you shooting and rolling and learning and making the right kind of mistakes to get better on the next one?
Having a producer mindset as a director. Man, you just
Always.
spitting wisdom today. I love it. I love it.
It-
Um, Blake, when are we getting a feature from you?
um, So I know I call this the belly fire.
Okay.
I've been asked that a lot recently. There's a feature coming. I have a project right now with a company called Wild Atlantic. They've done some really great movies. They had some great movies at Toronto. They're based out of Ireland. So my first feature, I think, will be with them, depending on timing wise, because I have another one called Valves with a different company too that's been optioned, and they're in development now as well. The Empty Lot is my baby. Will probably come out first, and a
Mhm.
lot of my Toronto meetings were there, and it's been very cool to be able to talk about it now,
Nice.
which we'll have more news coming soon. Um, the best answer is to say I can't say things, which has taken me a while. Like that's good. Um, but I really like. I have a project called The Empty Lot, and it checks a lot of those boxes. It has. I hope people can't pin it genre wise. It is a love story, and it's about it's close to a place where I grew up in the South Jersey, Pennsylvania area, and man, it's gonna rip your heart out and stomp it on the floor, make you laugh a couple times, make you scared a couple times, and make you anxious a lot of the time. And I hope to be able to share more fun, exciting news on it soon.
Very cool. My final question, when it's done, can I be the first one to interview
100%,
you?
100%.
I'm RSVPing that interview right now. Okay.
You come in and we better do. I well, here's the thing. If it goes to a European festival, you need to go there for the first time
I
too.
guess I'll have to. That's
You have to
true.
come
That is
out.
true. So, keep me informed and let's see what we can make happen.
What do you think the best feature for me? Have you seen T?
I did CT. Yes.
If you were to put me in a feature box,
Okay.
or if you were to comp, if you were like you're a baseball scout, or
Mhm.
you're an NFL scout, what fit kind of movie wise do you see this feature coming out to? I'm curious.
I think um hmm I just don't know. I don't know.
Well, you do have
What
zero context, so
I
that
do.
doesn't
I do
help.
zero contact. So I don't know. I'm curious. I want to What do you think?
You,
What
but
do,
this is you're the critic. You have to
I
have
am the
the gut
critic.
instinct. You have to make a hot take here. You say, well, I think it's going to be like that. Your career's going to be like this, or it's going to come out like this. You're going
Mm,
to take a couple,
mhm.
maybe. I need a couple to warm up.
Okay, well, first of all, I would actually really love it'd be cool to get if it got over to a European festival, but I would love
Mhm.
for it to premiere at Sundance. That would just be I mean, Sundance is just a great place for feature directorial
Mhm.
debuts. Love it there.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and I totally see, um, the that draw you have towards, like, not having a genre for it, and just, like, I don't know. I wanna talk to you more. I wanna get more context.
Okay,
Let me get more context, and then I'll give my hot take next time.
I like that. I like that. You want to
Yeah,
leave them wanting more. This is not your
exactly.
first rodeo. Okay.
That's exactly it.
It
That's what
it's a
content is about.
it's a it's gonna be. I'm really proud of this script. I've written a lot of scripts that weren't ready,
Okay.
and just like shorts aren't ready, they're not ready for the big festivals, you get the no's. And
Mhm.
um, luckily enough, or as the stars kind of aligned, when T got into Cannes, I elevated work wise and kind of got in the room for the first time. And I've been at it for over 10 years. And I had written The Empty Lot. Like I had been writing that for about a year and a half before then, and I had a draft ready for Cannes. So I started my meetings on that feature, but I'd written a bunch of crappy features. Like I made a bunch of crappy shorts that got a little less crappy every one. I had grinded it out and made a bunch of, worked my way through feature scripts before then. So when Cannes hit, I had one project that I felt was ready, appropriate, scaled, and it's been about a year or so of development, of meeting with companies, of who the right fit was, and where it's going to lie, and then the notes and the paper and the agreement and all that. And now I'm really psyched on it. I'm really flattered to be a part of the movies that are also with this company too, and um, we hope to have more news on it soon. I see you
I'm
there. I
I'm
see I hear the gears turning.
the gears are turning.
That
The
was
gears
a
are
loud
turning.
lean back.
I my observations on, like, studios and the distributors, I mean, and the kind of movies that they put out, and it has morphed over the years. I think that there's been I guess I mean, I gravitate towards the A24s and the neons and the searchlights.
Mhm.
Even focus features is something that
Yeah,
I when their name's on a film, I'm typically gravitated to. And so that I'm thinking about it, and the gears are going to keep turning.
those are good. Those are good. Those are great companies. I'll say
Yeah.
that. Those are
Yeah.
great.
All right.
Those are great companies.
All
Those are great
right.
companies. I think very highly of them as well. Um, I do. I do. I like those.
Interesting. All right.
Um,
Okay. Okay. I'll just
so
bank that. But
we'll do first interview.
yes,
Do
first interview.
you okay, you are so charming and nice, and you obviously have said very nice things about Disc. Are you like, how is your meter on something that isn't for you? Will
Oh,
you
this
do
is
a
a great
review
question, Blake. This is
and
a
tank
great question.
something? Or like, because, and I learned this in school, credit to
Yeah.
my professors, because I had some professors that were critics, were TV
Mm-hmm.
critics specifically, and they taught us that you don't have to like your critics' taste. You just have to,
Mm-hmm.
they have to be consistent and familiar. So like, how to position your opinions off of their takes on stuff. So if I know that you and I have totally opposite takes, I can still read your review and be like, he loved this one. I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna pass on this, right? So successful experience, right?
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so how do you feel on something that isn't for you? And will you just not do a review? Are you in a like, or because I know there are critics that won't write a
Mm-hmm.
negative one,
Mm-hmm.
and you're so nice, and you said some nice things at this. Where do you lie on the spectrum there?
Well, I'm gonna start by saying I genuinely love Disc.
Thank you.
It can be kind of a challenge to take interviews for movies that I didn't necessarily like or didn't
Mm,
out for me. But what I found in that is that no matter how I felt about the film, I always have great conversations. Like it's
mhm.
always, and even if I don't like the film, even after the conversation, I always earn more respect for the movie when I get these behind the scenes
That's a very
conversations.
polite answer. That was a
Yeah.
very clean answer.
Yeah,
That's
I've been
very.
doing I've been doing this, for about 5 years now, and
Mhm,
I think that I've learned a lot, not just about film, but about filmmaking and the amount of work and effort that goes into it, and maybe for better or worse for my criticism side, I respect every movie that's made.
mhm.
I can't believe so many movies get made. Just when I hear about the challenges and the obstacles that have to be overcome and the financing issues, like it is wild that so many movies are able to get made, and that just goes to the that's just credit to filmmakers and the fortitude of the industry to tell stories. So I have so much respect for that. Now I guess to answer your question more specifically, um blockbuster films, movies that I know people got paid and my
Yeah.
review is not going to ruin their reputation. If I didn't like it, I'm going to write a bad review. you know,
Okay.
that's I don't have a problem with that. But when it comes to indie films and smaller films and shorts, I I have passed on writing reviews before on movies that weren't for me, because I don't think that as a critic, it's my I don't want to be a barrier
Mm,
to filmmaking. And I know that criticism can be constructive for filmmakers.
100%. 100%.
Um, but if I'm going to write something that is constructive, I don't want it to skew negative, right? I want to find the positive things in the film.
Mhm.
And so, if it wasn't for me, if it just wasn't something that I didn't connect with, I can write a mixed review and find positive things about it, but I
Yeah.
won't write straight negative reviews
Yeah, yeah.
for the independent and smaller films because I if it's not for me and I can't find anything positive about it, then it wasn't for me. Someone else should review this one, you know?
I will that's I totally see that. On the devil's advocate side,
Uh,
I would say there is a time where you would even be doing more of a service by writing a mixed
interesting.
review for a growing director.
Mhm.
I don't think at a certain like it's it's like a tougher note, the tougher love will stick with someone, and and it'll make more of an impression and maybe motivate them or like help their work. Like there is a service side to doing a real review and a flattery to it too. Getting
Mhm.
reviews, being able to talk to someone like that, like you, is so flattering. You're getting the consideration and you're growing, and to have it be mixed is okay. Like that's good. Like Disc got one or two like what was this like moments for that.
Cool. What's wrong with them?
They are my enemies, and I will win them over with the next one. But uh, but no, it helps. It fires me up too. Like you're putting yourself out there. You're putting your work
Yeah.
out there. You're asking people to sit down and consider your work. So you better be able to handle all the opinions back, right? Like you
There
open the doors. I
yes.
love that. I seek that. Like, and it helps it be. You feel like you're getting a more honest bag
Mhm.
too.
There are a couple perspectives that I take on film criticism because
Mhm.
there's the feedback to the filmmaker. I think that that's one angle which you're addressing and talking about and are
Yeah.
making great points about. But I think there's also the audience, and we have aggregates now. Rotten
Mhm.
Tomatoes, Letterboxd, right? And a lot of people make decisions on those aggregations, and we just live in a world where people kind of take the top level rating, right? What is the average
Mhm.
score? What is the tomato meter? What's the verified hot whatever that
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
on Rotten Tomatoes? And they take that at face value and then decide from that whether they're going to see the movie or not. And for a long time when I was doing reviews, I wouldn't put a rating. Read the
Mm.
review, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
read the review and actually understand whether this is a movie that you should spend your time on or not.
Mhm.
And I think that there can be a disservice to for the audience when they're just kind of taking the knee jerk
Yeah.
top line review uh, or rating and kind of judging whether they should see a movie on that. I want people uh, to really have that sense of exploration and discovery for
Mhm.
film, and that can be tough if critics, kind of are the gatekeepers of that. And while that can be constructive for
Mhm.
filmmakers, I feel like it could be a disservice to audiences, and so I think about that a lot.
Have you ever gone to a movie and it's not for you, but the
Mm.
crowd is loving it?
Oh,
And
plenty. Yeah.
do you sit back and go, "Man, does it move
Oh
your
my gosh.
meter?"
I'm going to share this story because I still
Name
get
names. Name
right.
names.
I still get pushback from my friends on this,
Mhm.
which is entirely justified. But I think this goes to like everyone's individual experience with the film. At Sundance this year, there was a
Mhm.
movie that everybody was super excited about. It's called Twinless, directed by James
Yeah.
Sweeney, starring Dylan
Yep.
O'Brien. Like
Mhm.
this great like bromance story. Like I was stoked for this movie. I was
Yeah.
really really excited for it. And so I went to the world premiere and was fortunate enough to be there for it. And the first 15 minutes of that movie just like was everything I wanted out of it. It was great. But then there's a thing that happens after the title card, and I won't
Mhm.
spoil that. I think the movie is out now, so definitely
Yeah, yeah.
watch it. Right? There's a thing that happens after the title card that just deflated all of the air in my interest in this movie,
No.
and I spent the rest of the runtime just like grumbling over the fact that this movie did a thing that I did not really. resonate with. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, the rest of my time at Sundance, I was literally the only person in Park City that did not like this movie, you know. And
Yeah, but then I
I
want to
had
read your review on it, right?
I didn't publish it.
No?
Because what I realized is like, um, there's something that I need to assess with my
Yeah, yeah.
interpretation of the film, right? Everybody loves this movie. I have not come across a negative review on
Mm,
this movie. I am the only person that had a problem with it. And so I wanted to see it again. And I had intended on watching it again during Sundance, but it got pulled off the online
mm,
thing. So I need to check it out now that it's available. But I have wanted to rewatch it again. And with my preconceived notions aside, now I don't have those expectations anymore, kind of holding back my
yeah.
interest in it. I want to see it again and see if I can get on board with what everyone else really appreciated about this movie. And honestly, it's a very, very well made movie. And I have to try to separate my own personal preferences from the skill that that
Yeah.
is in making the
True.
film. It's so well made. It's funny. The performances are awesome. It looks great. Like, it's very, very well made. There's just narrative things that I
You just don't think it's good. That's okay. I see. Wait a minute. I think, no, put it out. I don't buy it.
oh man.
You're talking about the person you went on the date with, and you're like, they're nice, they're really sweet, they really are so polite, their friends are cool, but you're not gonna end up with them. Like, what are you talking about? Like, so
that's
we're
that's
here for we
very
want
valid.
your opinion. We want your spin, even if
Yeah,
you're one out of 500.
yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't. It just I'm so mixed on it. I want to see it again, and after if I go, let me go on a second date with this movie,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and see like
Sure,
where I
sure.
end up there, because if I can like, is that narrative choice really a problem in the film,
Mhm.
or is it just I had expectations that the movie didn't meet, or
And also, I mean, you know this probably more than me, but is this internal battle you're having a success of the movie in its own?
it could
If
be, it
one
very
thing
well
is
could
making
be.
you think this much and this hard, then isn't art just trying to elicit opinions out of us or thoughts, opinion, blah, blah, blah? Like, there's a deeper cut in there too. And I
You
think
know what?
sharing that in a review is fascinating.
I at some point will write a review on it probably. Let
There
me
you
I wanna watch it a second time and get a more balanced and fair
go.
perspective
Mhm.
without me being in a negative mood the whole time.
Okay, cool,
Um,
cool.
and when I do, I'll send it to you.
There we
Hopefully you'll have seen it by then and maybe we can have a
Yeah,
conversation.
down.
Oh my gosh, Blake, I could talk to you for a very long time.
Same,
But
same. You're too much fun.
yeah, you're too much fun too. But I I guess I want to be respectful of your time, and we'll connect again. I can see more conversations with you in the future.
Would love that. We'll be at, we like, luckily Disc is starting a little bit of a run right now. We'll be hitting a
Good.
bunch of other festivals. I hope to be at some of those ones with Disc later this year.
Mhm.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Yep.
Um, and it's been an absolute pleasure, man. It's part of why I've loved these festivals, why I love filmmaking in general, is because you get to talk about this work, other people's work, with kind of new and fresh perspectives all the way. And it's been super flattering. It means the world having me on, man. We appreciate it from me and from everyone else who jumped on Disc.
Yeah. This is great. This is incredible conversation, Blake. Thank you so much for this. All right.
Of course.